Have you ever felt that little spark of excitement when you think about traveling again? Maybe it's a dream cruise through the Mediterranean, a long-awaited trip to visit family, or even just a cozy weekend getaway. For many of us, travel is more than just movement. It's freedom, adventure, and proof that we're still living life to the fullest. But here's the truth that doesn't often get talked about. After the age of 70, travel can bring hidden dangers that most people never see coming until it's too late. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not here to scare you away from traveling. In fact, I believe everyone deserves to keep exploring the world no matter their age. But as the years pass, our bodies, our routines, and even the way we handle stress begin to change. And those changes can make a big difference when you're thousands of miles from home, sleeping in a strange bed, eating unfamiliar food, or adjusting to a new time zone. That's what this video is really about, not to discourage you, but to prepare you. Because being aware of these hidden dangers can turn a risky trip into a safe, unforgettable adventure. So, grab a cup of tea, sit back, and let's have a real talk about what's lurking beneath the surface of those glossy travel brochures. Let's start with one of the biggest dangers that often sneaks up on older travelers: fatigue and dehydration. When you're younger, a red-eye flight or a long day on your feet exploring a city is no big deal. But once you're in your 70s, your body doesn't recover as quickly. Sitting for long hours, whether on a plane, train, or bus, can slow down circulation, stiffen joints, and leave you feeling wiped out. Add to that the dry air inside airplanes, a few missed meals, and the excitement of travel, and you've got the perfect recipe for dehydration and exhaustion. And here's the tricky part: dehydration doesn't always look like thirst. Sometimes it shows up as confusion, dizziness, headaches, or even a sudden drop in blood pressure. Many older travelers mistake it for jet lag or fatigue, when in reality, their bodies are simply running low on water and electrolytes. The fix? It's simple, but often overlooked. Drink water before, during, and after your flight. Not just coffee or juice, actual water. Carry a refillable bottle if you can, and sip consistently instead of waiting until you feel thirsty. And don't skip meals. Even light snacks can help keep your energy steady and prevent those dizzy spells that can ruin the first days of your trip. Now, let's talk about another hidden issue: medication mismanagement. Traveling after 70 often means you've got a small pharmacy packed in your carry-on, right? Pills for blood pressure, cholesterol, maybe diabetes, and a few vitamins to top it off. But when you cross time zones, change your routine, or get caught up in sightseeing, it's surprisingly easy to miss doses or take them at the wrong time. Imagine this: you've landed in Paris, exhausted but excited, and you decide to take your morning pill a little later. Then you're out exploring, you stop for lunch, and before you know it, the whole schedule is off. Skipping just one dose might not seem like a big deal, but for certain medications, even a small delay can cause spikes in blood pressure or sugar levels that lead to dizziness, fatigue, or worse. One of the smartest things you can do before traveling is to talk to your doctor about your itinerary. Ask about how to adjust your medication schedule across time zones. Bring a written list of every medicine you take, along with the dosage and timing. And here's a little tip many people overlook: pack at least 3 extra days' worth of medication in your carry-on, not your checked luggage. Bags get lost, flights get delayed, and you don't want your health to depend on whether your suitcase makes it to the destination. There's also the challenge of keeping medicines at the right temperature. Some need to stay cool, and when you're traveling in summer or to tropical areas, heat can damage them faster than you think. A small insulated bag with a reusable ice pack can save you from a lot of stress, especially if your meds are vital. Now, while we're on the topic of your body's needs, let's touch on another hidden danger: mobility strain. Travel is often romanticized as strolling through cobblestone streets, hiking scenic trails, or wandering through bustling markets. But uneven pavements, steep stairs, or simply standing too long can lead to knee, hip, or back pain that lingers long after the trip ends. Many people in their 70s underestimate how much walking a single sightseeing day can involve. Even short excursions can turn into hours of movement without proper rest. Here's what most tour guides and travel companies won't tell you: you're allowed to take it slow. You don't have to keep up with the group's pace. In fact, the best travel memories often happen when you slow down and really take in your surroundings. Plan for breaks, wear supportive shoes, and don't be afraid to say, "I'll catch up later." A small folding cane or walking stick can also make a big difference, especially in places with rough terrain. Think of it not as a crutch, but as your travel companion that helps you stay steady and confident. And one more thing, choose comfort over pride. I know some people resist using mobility aids because they don't want to look old, but the truth is, no one's judging you. What matters is your safety and your ability to enjoy the trip fully. There's nothing brave about pushing through pain or risking a fall on vacation. Speaking of falls, that's where we'll go next, because they're one of the most serious, and yet most preventable, dangers of traveling after 70. It's not just about where you walk, it's about what your body is prepared to handle when the unexpected happens. If you're still watching and feel that these insights are meaningful, please type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so, and don't forget to turn on the bell, so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos designed to uplift, inform, and inspire. Your support truly means a lot. It's what keeps us going and allows us to continue sharing thoughtful, helpful content just for you. Now, let's continue this journey together. So, we were just talking about falls, one of those things most people don't think about until it happens. You might be careful at home, holding the railing on stairs and keeping pathways clear, but when you travel, everything changes. Hotel rooms have unfamiliar layouts, floors might be slick from tile or condensation, and bathrooms rarely have grab bars. Even a simple step that's an inch higher than you expect can throw you off balance. Falls are the hidden travel danger that can turn a wonderful trip into weeks of recovery. And the risk doesn't only come from walking or climbing stairs. It can happen while stepping off a bus, getting in and out of the shower, or rushing across a street you thought was clear. What makes travel tricky is that we're often distracted, looking around, taking photos, adjusting bags, or trying to keep up with a group. That's when the missteps happen. One of the best ways to stay steady on your feet is to prepare before the trip even begins. If your balance isn't what it used to be, start doing gentle exercises at home that strengthen your legs and core. Simple routines like standing on one leg while holding a chair or walking heel to toe across a room can do wonders for your stability. And once you're on your trip, take a few seconds to steady your surroundings before you move. Notice where the stairs are, if the floor looks wet, or if the carpet has loose edges. Those few seconds can make all the difference. Also, pack shoes that are made for walking, the kind with firm soles and a good grip. It's tempting to bring something stylish for dinners or photos, but slippery or loose-fitting shoes can be a real hazard. If you want a little extra confidence, consider using a lightweight travel cane. Some even fold up to fit in your bag. You might not need it every day, but having it handy can make you feel safer when the terrain gets tricky. Now, let's move to another hidden risk that many travelers overlook: infections and illnesses. When you're 70 or older, your immune system isn't as quick to fight off germs as it used to be. That doesn't mean you're fragile, it just means your body takes a little longer to bounce back. Airports, airplanes, and crowded attractions are full of surfaces that hundreds of people touch every day. And while younger travelers might catch a simple cold and recover in a day or two, for seniors, even a mild infection can lead to something more serious, like pneumonia or a urinary tract infection. The good news is that prevention goes a long way. Washing your hands more often than you think is necessary is one of the simplest ways to stay healthy while traveling. Carry a small bottle of hand sanitizer and use it before meals, after using public transportation, and after handling money. Keep a packet of disinfectant wipes, too. You'd be surprised how much cleaner your airplane tray or hotel remote can be after a quick wipe down. And here's something few people realize: travel can change your sleep schedule, diet, and even how much water you drink, all of which can weaken your immune system. Make sure to get enough rest, especially during long trips. If your body feels run down, that's a sign you need to pause and recharge, not push through. Another tip that's often overlooked is checking with your doctor about travel vaccines or preventive medications, especially if you're visiting a region with different bacteria or insects than you're used to. Even something as simple as a stomach bug can hit harder when you're far from home. Keep a small travel health kit with essentials like pain relievers, stomach medicine, and a thermometer. It's always better to have what you need on hand than to hunt for a pharmacy in an unfamiliar city. While we're talking about health, we should also discuss climate and altitude changes, because they can catch even the most experienced traveler off guard. If you're heading to a place that's hotter, colder, or higher than what you're used to, your body will need time to adjust. Heat, for example, can be deceptively dangerous. Older adults are more prone to heat exhaustion and dehydration because the body's ability to regulate temperature decreases with age. If you've ever found yourself sweating less than you used to on a hot day, that's a sign your cooling system isn't working as efficiently as it once did. When traveling to warm destinations, wear loose, light clothing, a wide-brimmed hat, and stay in the shade whenever possible. And don't underestimate the power of air conditioning. There's no shame in taking a break indoors during the hottest part of the day. Cold weather can be just as risky, especially for people with arthritis or circulation issues. Temperatures that don't bother younger travelers can cause stiffness, slower movement, or numbness that affects balance. Dressing in layers helps trap warmth and allows you to adjust as needed. And always wear shoes with traction to avoid slipping on icy or wet surfaces. Now, altitude is one danger that almost no one talks about until they experience it. Traveling to higher elevations, say, in the mountains or even certain parts of South America, means there's less oxygen in the air. For a healthy person, that might just cause a little shortness of breath. But for someone over 70, especially with heart or lung conditions, it can trigger fatigue, headaches, or even chest discomfort. If you're planning a trip to a high-altitude area, take it slow. Spend a day or two acclimating before doing anything strenuous. Drink more water than usual, and avoid alcohol for the first couple of days, since it can worsen dehydration. And always listen to your body. If you feel lightheaded, dizzy, or unusually tired, stop and rest. The world isn't going anywhere, and it's far better to enjoy it at your own pace than to push through discomfort. Lastly, there's something many travelers in their 70s forget to plan for: the emotional and mental strain of travel. It's exciting to explore new places, but it can also be stressful. Rushing through airports, keeping track of documents, or even adjusting to new foods and languages can take a toll on your mood and confidence. And if you're traveling alone, that sense of disorientation can sometimes lead to anxiety or even mild confusion, especially in busy or unfamiliar environments. One way to ease that emotional load is to keep your travel routine as familiar as possible. Bring a small comfort from home, maybe your favorite scarf, a travel pillow, or even a playlist that relaxes you. These little pieces of familiarity help keep you grounded. Also, plan extra time for everything. Instead of worrying about missing a connection or getting lost, give yourself space to move at your own rhythm. The world feels a lot more welcoming when you're not in a rush. And don't underestimate the importance of connection. If you're traveling with family, let them know how you're feeling, whether it's tired, anxious, or just needing a quiet moment. If you're traveling solo, keep in touch with a loved one through calls or messages. Hearing a familiar voice can make even the farthest place feel a bit closer to home. Because in the end, travel is supposed to fill you with joy, not stress. It's meant to remind you that the world is still full of wonder, but it's a wonder best enjoyed safely and mindfully. That brings us to another often overlooked danger, one that's not physical but can affect your entire experience if you're not prepared: the financial and logistical traps that catch many older travelers off guard. Now, let's talk about one of the most overlooked dangers of traveling after 70, financial and logistical traps. You'd be surprised how often seasoned travelers, even those with decades of experience, find themselves caught in confusing fees, scams, or last-minute complications that drain not just their wallets but also their peace of mind. When you're younger, you might shrug off a lost credit card or an overcharge at a hotel. But at 70 or beyond, the stakes feel higher. Traveling should be about freedom, not fear of being taken advantage of. Unfortunately, The world has its fair share of people who target older tourists, assuming they're easier to confuse or distract. It often starts small. Maybe a friendly stranger offers to help with your luggage, or someone insists on showing you the best local spot. Sometimes it's a taxi driver who forgets to turn on the meter, or a vendor who quotes prices in a foreign currency that sounds reasonable until you realize you've paid double. These things happen every day in tourist hotspots, and the worst part is, they're not always easy to spot when you're in a new environment and trying to stay polite. The best protection? Awareness and preparation. Before your trip, take a little time to learn about common scams in your destination. It's amazing how many can be avoided just by knowing what to watch for. Carry a small crossbody bag that zips securely and always keep it in front of you, not hanging on your back. If someone seems overly eager to help, it's okay to smile and say no, thank you. You don't owe anyone your trust just because they're friendly. And when it comes to money, it's smart to spread it out. Keep a small amount of cash in an easy-to-reach spot for daily use, but store most of it safely, perhaps in a money belt or hotel safe. Using a debit card instead of cash for large expenses is safer, but make sure to let your bank know your travel dates to avoid account freezes. And if you ever find yourself in a confusing situation, like unexpected charges or documents written in a language you can't read, take your time. Don't sign anything right away. Ask for clarification, or better yet, have a trusted travel companion or hotel staff member help you understand. Speaking of trust, one of the biggest hidden dangers seniors face while traveling is over-relying on strangers. There's something about travel that makes people let their guard down. You're relaxed, you're in vacation mode, and you want to believe the best about everyone. But when you're in an unfamiliar place, not everyone's intentions are kind. Whether it's someone who offers to watch your bag while you use the restroom, or a taxi driver insisting that a certain route is faster, those little decisions can quickly turn into safety risks. Here's something important: being cautious doesn't mean being afraid. It means being confident enough to trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Walk away, change directions, or ask a hotel employee for assistance. Keep copies of your passport, travel insurance, and emergency contacts stored separately from the originals. That way, if anything gets lost or stolen, you're not left helpless. Now, another danger that often goes unmentioned isn't physical or financial, it's the strain of overscheduling. Many travelers, especially those who don't get to go away often, feel pressure to see it all. They pack every hour of their trip with activities, tours, and meals, thinking that's the best way to make the most of it. But after 70, pushing yourself too hard can turn excitement into exhaustion faster than you'd expect. Travel shouldn't be a marathon, it should be a dance. A slow, graceful one where you can pause and soak in the moment. Instead of rushing from one attraction to another, try focusing on a few experiences that truly speak to you. Maybe it's sipping coffee at a quiet cafe, watching the locals go about their day, or visiting a museum and taking your time with each painting. Those are the moments you'll remember, not how many landmarks you checked off a list. Also, give yourself buffer days. Plan for rest between long journeys or intense sightseeing. Listen to your body. If your knees ache, or if you're feeling lightheaded, that's not weakness, that's wisdom. You've lived long enough to know when your body needs a break. Respect it. The beauty of being older is that you no longer have to rush for anyone's approval. You travel for you, and that means doing it at your own pace. And that leads us to perhaps the most hidden danger of all, the mindset that travel has to be perfect. Many people in their 70s compare their current travels to how they used to travel decades ago. Maybe you were once the kind of person who carried a backpack across Europe or hiked steep trails without a second thought. And now, when you find yourself needing to sit down more often or skip a few stairs, it can feel like a loss. But here's something to remember: slowing down doesn't mean missing out, it means experiencing life differently. In fact, traveling at an older age can be more meaningful. You notice details you might have rushed past before: the way sunlight hits old buildings, the sound of children playing, the smell of bread baking in a corner bakery. You see life not as a blur, but as a collection of small, precious moments. So, Instead of mourning the changes, celebrate them. Your travel story isn't over, it's just evolving. Of course, being aware of these dangers doesn't mean you should stop traveling. Quite the opposite. The goal isn't to scare you but to empower you. Once you know what to look out for, from fatigue and falls to scams and overexertion, you can prepare for them and travel smarter, safer, and with far more peace of mind. Remember, you've earned the right to enjoy your life fully. You've worked hard, raised families, faced challenges, and learned lessons most people can only imagine. If anyone deserves to see the world comfortably and confidently, it's you. The key is not to let fear guide you, let wisdom guide you. Before you go, take a moment to think about what kind of traveler you want to be from now on. Someone who races through the trip just to say they did it, or someone who truly lives it, one careful, joyful step at a time. There's no wrong answer, but there is one truth: travel, at any age, should bring you peace, not pressure. So, the next time you pack your bags, do it with intention. Bring your medications, your water bottle, your comfortable shoes, your confidence, and maybe even a little patience. Be cautious, but don't be afraid. The world is still out there waiting for you, full of beauty, surprises, and kindness. You just have to meet it on your own terms. And if this conversation has helped you rethink the way you approach travel, I'd love to hear from you. Share your own tips or stories in the comments, because the more we share, the safer and happier we all become. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more practical advice on living your best, healthiest, and most adventurous life, no matter your age. Here's to traveling smart, living boldly, and enjoying every sunrise that greets you, wherever in the world you may be. Because adventure doesn't end after 70, it just gets wiser.